Good morning, everyone. My name is Nipuni, and I will be the contestant for the university category contest. The eligibility criteria for university contestants are as follows. The contestant must be a member of a state or a private university and below the age of 27 as at 31st of January 2021. The rules and regulations of the contest were mentioned before. After the test speech is done, I will be calling each of you in a predetermined order to deliver your evaluations. The order of speaking of the contestants are as follows. Contestant number 1, Sachit Keragala. Contestant number 2, Subani Anandavadivel. Contestant number 3, Panchani Karunaratna. Contestant number 4, Famida Faiz. Contestant number 5, Raghavi Ratnarajan. Contestant number 6, Anuki Kotwegoda. Let us welcome Toastmaster Nelundi Herat, who will be conducting the test speech. Toastmaster Nelundi Herat, are you ready? Toastmaster Nelundi Herat.
Madam Test Speaker, you are not audible.
Nelundi, you are not audible at the moment. Yeah.
Now?
Yeah, now you are audible. Yes. Can you speak for like 5 seconds, Nelundi?
I'm Nelundi Herat. I'm from KDU Toastmasters and I'm 21 years old. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you are good to go.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Toastmaster Nelundi Herat, a simple step forward. A simple step forward, Nelundi Herat.
As human beings, do you know what our number one fear is? Ladies and gentlemen, it's public speaking, commonly known as stage fright. We fear talking in front of a crowd more than we fear death. Madam Contest Chair, ladies and gentlemen, Dumbledore once said, "It is our choices that show what we really are, far more than our abilities." Why do we get stage fright? It's like there are common reasons like lack of practice, lack of self-confidence, and reflection of past failures. And most importantly, we fear that we will be judged from the people who are in the audience. You get onto that stage, you take a look at the vast sea of the audience, and your mouth gets dry. Your hands begin to shake. Your heart begins to race. Stage fright. And not even imagining the whole audience is in their underwear is going to bring you back from this one. You should not let stage fright get in your way. Stage fright is like a supervillain. When you get onto that stage, stage fright follows you like a shadow. And if you let it get in your way and you take a step back, you will never be recognized. You will lose many opportunities. And most importantly, you will not be able to prove yourself what you're capable of and who you are. So all you have to do is just take a simple step forward and defeat stage fright. We all know Mahatma Gandhi. He's a well-renowned leader. Do you know that once Mahatma Gandhi had bad stage fright too? He was barely able to utter even 2 sentences in public. Once, he was asked to give a speech on behalf of the vegetarian community in London, and he got onto the stage and read only the first 2 lines of his message, and he could no longer speak. So he had to ask someone. My vision became blurred. I started to tremble. Though the speech hardly covered a sheet of foolscap, he recalled, Adele, a speaker that we all love. We love her voice. We love her performances. But do you know, once she had bad stage fright too? One time she projectile vomited on someone. And another time she got so scared, she escaped out of the fire exit. When I was in grade 8, I was asked to give a speech on behalf of my first ever Western music teacher at her farewell function in school. Now, this was my very first public speech. I was so excited. I practiced for days and days and days, and finally, the day of the farewell function arrived. The announcer called my name. I got onto the stage. I took the mic and I spoke for about 2 minutes, and suddenly I stopped. I couldn't recall anything from my speech. Everyone was just staring at me, and I just stood there. All I could hear was whispering and muttering, and I just stood there with a shaking hand holding the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, that day I could not finish my speech. Mahatma Gandhi chose to override his fears and anxieties. He chose to face his fears. He chose to take a simple step forward and defeat stage fright. Adele became this singer who we all love and adore. She became this great performer. She somehow overcame her fears. She took a simple step forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not finish my speech that day. Stage fright beat me. But I decided I will do more speeches. I will face my fears. And after that, every opportunity that I got, I did not let them go because of one bad experience. But I practiced and I did well. And in every speech, I'm proud to say that I finished each and every speech. Ladies and gentlemen, the first step is the hardest in anything. But once you take that, the rest is like a piece of cake. Today, I'm here in front of you all because I chose to face my fears. I chose to overcome my fears and defeat stage fright. And if you choose to do so, one day, when you get onto that stage fright, the super villain, will not follow you, but rather it will remain backstage and watch you go into the spotlight and conquer your fears like a superhero. It is our choices that show what we really are, far more than our abilities. Choose to take a simple step forward, just a step forward, because one day it will be worth it. Over to you.
Now, everyone will get 5 minutes to conclude your evaluation. Contestants, please turn on your cameras. time is up, please stop writing. You will now be directed to a waiting room, which you will be called back into the main session to deliver your evaluation. Good morning, everyone. We can start the session. Judges, are we ready to proceed?
Hello, yes, we can.
Okay. Now let us welcome contestant number 1, Sachit Keragala. Contestant, am I audible to you?
Yeah, you are audible. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Can you see the timer's cards?
Yes, I can see the timer's cards.
Judges, are you ready? Judges, are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Contestant, now you can start your evaluation.
Nelundi. Contestant, her topic was a simple step forward. As soon as I heard the topic, all that was in my mind was Neil Armstrong and the moon saying, one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. It's extremely relevant because in our day-to-day training young speakers, it's really hard to get that first step forward, to go over that first hurdle. And afterwards, it's like a dam breaking. You can't stop them speaking. So I really love your topic, and I think it's really relevant to every one of us Toastmasters. I really liked your speech, and now I'm going to tell you why I liked your speech. I'll give you 3 pros and 2 cons. I'll start with the pros. I really loved your speech structure and arrangement. First of all, I saw the triad. A triad is when you have 3 phases consecutively and successively, which subliminally engages the listener towards it. I saw a triad macroscopically as well as microscopically. I saw the microscopic triad when you talked about your gestures on stage. You talked about standing on your stage, no words, and shaking the mic. Macroscopically, you brought out 3 examples, Gandhi, Adele, and yourself. So I saw that rule of 3 everywhere in your speech, and I really commend you for that. Second of all, I really loved the way that you personified your fear. You made your fear a person, took it out of you, and put it backstage. So that personification really helps you understand what fear is and helps you visualize fear as something separate from yourself. And that's a really good tactic of language that you use. Third of all, I really loved your hand gestures. When we usually train speakers, when we see beginner speakers, we see that their hand gestures are not natural. They try to voluntarily move their hands here and there. But in your speech, I saw that your body was resonating to yourself and it was all natural. Now I'll give you a few recommendations, and these aren't really recommendations, but a few obstacles that stand in the way of a good speaker to a great speaker. Your vocal variety. In your vocal variety, we need pace, pitch, emotion, loudness, and pace. I saw a bit of unnecessary pauses here and there, which let the engagement between the listener and the speaker go away for a little bit. So increase your pace a little bit. And the second one is emotion. You're talking about fear and motivation. You need to put more if fear into your voice. You need to make your voice shake a little bit when we're talking about fear and we're talking about motivation. You need to motivate, bring the force into it. So if you can do those little recommendations, I think that you can take the last step. You talk about the first step, I'm talking about the last step. You have already stepped many steps towards the finish line and you are just a few steps away. So take the last step and be a champion speaker, Nelunti. Over to you.
Now let's give the judges 1 minute of silence to mark their ballots. One minute has now elapsed. We are admitting the next contestant now. Now let us welcome contestant number 2, Subhani Anandavadiba. Contestant, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Can you see the timer's cards?
Yes.
Judges, are you ready?
Yes, please.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant, now you can start your evaluation.
I'm empathized by your speech, Nelundi, because I have stage fear, but I'm taking my simple step forward to give you my evaluations. Contestant, ladies and gentlemen, Nelundi, what I love the most about your speech is the use of the rhetorical devices, the quotes that supported your message. The quotes of Dumbledore and Mahatma Gandhi, where you mention that choices make us who we are more than our ability. We may or may not be good in public speaking, but it is our choice to take a simple step forward to go for it. And those quotes did support your message. And secondly, what I loved about your speech most is the speech purpose, your message, where you said that public speaking is the biggest fear. We fear that over our death. And the first step is the hardest for us. And this message, I could connect with me because personally, I have fear in public speaking. So this message was very timely and thank you for that. Thirdly, what I loved about your speech is your eye contact. Now we know that unlike in a physical platform, in a virtual speech competition, you've got to see at one point the camera and it's a bit hard, but you maintained it throughout the speech and that helped to build a connection with me. Nelundi, if I could suggest you some points of improvements for your speech, first thing is that I felt that you could have been a bit more dramatic. Like the part that you said, your mouth gets dried, your hand shook, and your heart beats faster when you want to give a speech. I felt that you raised your voice, but at such a situation, you're frightened. You could have acted it out like your mouth gets dry and hand shakes and the heart beats. You could have shown that to us. So I would have felt what you went through when you were delivering your first speech. My second point of recommendation for you is that now you did have your personal story. But what I felt is you could have paid more attention or weightage to your personal story. Now, you had the story of Dumbledore, you had the story of Mahatma Gandhi. So more than giving more time and attention to their stories, if you could have paid more attention to your story, that would have helped me connect with you emotionally. Plus, it could have given the authenticity to your speech, right? So all in all, I loved your speech, Nelundi. I love the use of rhetorical devices, the quotes that you used, which supported the message. And the speech purpose where you said that public speaking is a fear that all of us have, and you connected with us so well, and the eye contact that you maintain throughout the speech. And to this amazing speech, if I could add in points of recommendation, that would be, you could have been a bit more dramatic. So you could have helped me picture what you wanted me to. And secondly, you could have paid more weightage to your personal story than referring to other people's stories. So all in all, it was an amazing speech, Nelundi. Good luck to many more speeches to inspire your listeners. Over to you, contest chair.
Now let's give the judges 1 minute of silence to mark the ballots. One minute has now left. We are admitting the next contestant now. Now let us welcome contestant number 3, Panchani Karunaratna. Contestant, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Contestant, can you see the timer's cards?
Yes, I can.
Judges, are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Contestant, now you can start your evaluation.
Contest chair, my dear Nelundi, you indeed are a fighter. You proved it throughout your speech. Firstly, you were an amazing storyteller. Nelundi, when you spoke about Mahatma Gandhi's recall, you were literally living on your stage. You were a speaker who could take me from where I was seated to where you wanted me to be. The second thing I loved about your speech was the rhetorical devices that you used. You are a fine craftsman of words. I saw 4 beautiful A's in sight: alliteration, amplification, allusion, and analogy. Vast sea. Stage fright is like a supervillain. Step forward. Piece of cake. These things gave your speech light, just as you are today to this contest. A good speaker always has a good message. Nelundi, your message inspired me. Face your fears. Prove yourself who you are. That key message was perfectly in line with the rest of your content. Simply, your speech was like a delicious pizza. Let's add some more cheese to it, because who doesn't like a cheesy pizza? Nelundi, I wish you used your body language more, as you should get delightful and cheerful, excited when you got the very first public speaking opportunity. The punch of the speech you had at the beginning was a bit decreasing with the lack of your body language. I would suggest you to practice your delivery in front of a mirror in order to take your speech from good to great. And Nelali, you had a powerful voice. But your story was about loss and anger. You were lost and angry and not sure what you're going to do when you talk about the stage fight you had. There, your voice was a bit hyped when it shouldn't be. I would suggest that instead you implement more vocal variety with some pauses and a good pace. In a nutshell, you did an amazing job. Remember, you're a fantastic storyteller. The rhetorical devices you used were fabulous, and your key message was so meaningful. And don't forget, use your voice and body language correctly. Among various types of speakers, I see a great persuasive speaker in the making. Nelundi, I can assure that one day you will be a remarkable speaker that will stay in people's hearts. She took a step forward. So will you. Contestia, over to you.
Now let's give the judges 1 minute of silence to mark their ballots. One minute has now lapsed. We are admitting the next contestant now. Now let us welcome contestant number 4, Famida Faiz. Contestant, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Can you see the timer's cards?
I can. Yes, I can.
Judges, are you ready?
Yes, madam.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Contestant, now you can start your evaluation.
Let me take that first bold step and make an evaluation. Contest chair, ladies and gentlemen, and today's superhero. Nelundi, today your speech was inspiring, it was entertaining, and most importantly, it carried a very important message to the audience. To face a fear, you need to try. Now, throughout this speech, you managed to emerge as a superhero in various ways. The first thing that I loved about your speech is the use of vivid words. You had a keen sense of understanding to use those words to appeal to the senses of the audience, especially in the instance where you said, my mouth was so dry, my heart was beating so fast, and you said the sea of the audience. Your words were so descriptive that we could almost see, hear, and feel what you were talking about. That was brilliant. The second thing that I loved about your speech was that you managed to use gestures to amplify your message, especially in the instance where you said, defeat stage fright, and you stood there holding the mic. And that gesture where you were shivering, you managed to take us there to that scenario. Now, as a speaker, our prime objective is to reduce the gap that we have between the speaker and the audience. And you managed to do that with your gestures. The third thing that I loved about your speech is that you managed to compare and contrast personalities that every single one of us know. You brought up Adele, you brought up Mahatma Gandhi, and you brought yourself. And you compared the difference and the abilities that each and every one of you all have, the fear that you all have. You took the audience to that scenario and made sure that they understood what was different and how they overcome it. Now, Nelundi, every single superhero requires the efforts and the advice of the sidekick. So let me be your sidekick and let me give you some points of recommendation which I think might add value to your speech. My first recommendation for you would be pausing. Now, there were certain instances where I felt you asked a question. For instance, like, do you know what the number one fear is? And then you went on to answer it saying, it's public speaking. I would prefer if you had a pause there so as to give the suspense and let the audience actually reflect. Wait, what's that sense? What's the first thing that we're all afraid of? Now, when you have that pause, that amplifies your message. Now, the second recommendation I have for you would be questions, especially at the latter part of your event. If you can add questions like, not everybody has fear of public speaking, but you do have some fear, don't you? Now, when you add questions like that, the audience is able to relate to you and they understand that even they have fears. In summation, Nelindi, you had a wonderful use of vivid words. You had a very good understanding to use your gestures to amplify your message. And you were able to compare and contrast people that we know. And you can take the speech to the next level by including pausing and by including questions. And with all that, the superhero that you are, and with the advice of the sidekick, you'll be able to rule any supervillains existing. Contest share.
Now, let's give the judges 1 minute of silence to mark the ballots. One minute has now elapsed. We are admitting the next contestant now. Now let us welcome contestant number 5, Raghavi Ratnarajan. Contestant, am I audible to you?
Yes, you.
Can you see the timer's cards?
Yes, I can see.
Judges, are you ready?
Yes, madam.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Contestant, now you can start your evaluation.
Some speeches leave a lingering effect on you even after it's delivered. Contestia, panel of judges, and my dear Nelundi Hera. We heard one such amazing speech from you, Nelundi. You nailed it by overcoming your stage fright today. Let me tell you what I loved in your speech. You had a good opening. You grabbed our attention by asking the question, what is your greatest fear? That created the curiosity in me, remembering my greatest fears of all. Next, you are an emotional roller coaster by delivering the stories of great personalities like Mahatma Gandhi, the great singer, how they overcome the stage fright. And also, you delivered your own personal story, which was very relatable to me, like how you had this fear of public speaking and then how you chose to overcome, practice days and days, and finally you were able to finish the speech and see the success. That's the spirit, Nelundi. Next thing, you gripped our hearts by creating vivid images in our mind by using your body language and hand gestures. Like my mouth dried out,
Heart started to beat. My hands were shaking. Those added colors to your speech. Now, every speech is like an arc. The center and the body is held by two strong pillars, the opening and the conclusion. In your conclusion, you had a key message which was lined with your content. You said, first step is the hardest thing of everything. And when you take it, that becomes a piece of cake. Yes, that was a take-home message to us. Every speech can be taken to a greater level with some improvements. I would like to give you some suggestions like adding cherries to the cake. First thing, you can use more facial expressions and exaggerations like, I couldn't remember anything, my hands were shivering, and you can show that fear in your face. Second thing is the voice modulation. Show different voice like your Western music teacher asks you, Nelundi, do you want to do a speech? And when you're scared, use a low pitch. And when you're happy, use that bright smile and say, yes, I was able to finish the speech. With that summation, you are a great storyteller. You had a good opening. You created vivid images. You had a take-home message. Areas to improve is your facial expressions and your voice modulation. With this, you can take your speech to a greater level. Congratulations and all the very best for your future speeches, Nildi. You are a great speaker. Over to you, contest chair.
Now let's give the judges 1 minute of silence to mark their ballots. One minute has now lapsed. We are admitting the next contestant now. Now, let us welcome contestant number 6, Anuki Kotuegoda. Contestant, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Can you see the timer's cards?
Yes, I can see.
Judges, are you ready?
Yes, madam.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant, are you ready?
Yes.
Contestant, now you can start your evaluation.
Let me take one simple step forward and say, Nelundi, you did a great speech today. Contest chair, honorable judges, dear friends, and my dearest Nelundi. Let me elaborate 3 strengths I saw within your speech. First strength was your speech development. You had a very well developed speech. First, you chose a topic which we all can relate to as Gavilius, and you had a very constructed opening and an end and a very constructed body. You had references from very famous people, and not only that, to support the purpose of your speech, you use a personal experience of yours. It made you appear really authentic. It made your speech really authentic. And your body was very well developed with rhetorical devices, such as rhetorical questions. Why do we all have stage fright? And you use alliterations. Fear his faces. You were marvelous in your speech development. The second strength was your body language. You had open arm body gestures. You said, I took the mic, step back, step forward, and hardly covered one page. You use your body gestures, your body language really good in your speech. The third strength was your vocal variety. You articulated every word with precision. And what I noticed fantastic about your speech is how you varied your volume. Not only your pitch, you varied your volume in your vocals. It was marvelous. Overall, Nelundi, your speech was like a freshly baked cupcake. It had all the good aroma, the freshness, and the right ingredients in it. To add the frosting on that cupcake, let me suggest you two recommendations. The first thing I recommend you to improve is your energy. I noticed that in the opening, you lack a bit of confidence in your speech. It's okay to have butterflies in your stomach, but just get them to fly in formation. You should be more energetic. You have a great gift in your speech to give us. You should be energetic to give us that speech. The second thing I recommend you to improve is your eye contact. At some points, I noticed that you were losing your eye contact with us. You have to engage with us by maintaining your eye contact. To sway an audience, you must watch them as you speak. Then it would be more great. In summation, Nelundi, your speech development was fantastic and your body gestures and your vocal variety was excellent. And communication works for those who work at it. So I hope you would improve your energy and your eye contact more. I'm pretty sure you can improve those. Then one day we would be able to see you in a Toastmasters World Championship finals. So I congratulate Nelundi for taking this big step forward. Today, over to you, contest chair.
Now let's give the judges 1 minute of silence to mark the ballots.
Madam, it has to be 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, sir, 2 minutes. Now let's give the judges 2 minutes of silence to mark the ballot.
Please go ahead, madam. You can go ahead with your...
Okay, sir. Ladies and gentlemen.
You can go ahead, madam.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this magnificent contest. As said before, the winners of this competition will be announced at the grand finale, which happens today at 1 p.m. So if you're joining us through YouTube, please make sure that you join the Facebook live session at 1 p.m. If you didn't receive the link yet, It will be live streamed in the Facebook page of Gabber Club, University of Colombo. There, you can witness 12 more humorous speeches, and at the end, the winners of this competition and the humorous speech competition will be announced. Out of these brilliant speakers, if you want to know who won, make sure you join in the afternoon. With that said, we have come to an end of the final rounds of evaluation category. I'm Nipuni signing off, hoping to see you again soon. Till then, take care. Contestant, you can leave the meeting now.